It's a little dark in here today, too. I like it, though. This is more moody like our earlier shows.
Yeah, I like it moodier. It's calmer. You can bring the mic closer. You can talk a little,
A little bit
sexually.
softer.
Yeah.
Talk sexually?
Talk sexually to each other. Come on, Adam. Let's talk sexually to each other.
I have a cramp. I have a cramp.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Come on, baby.
Suck it. I get the cramp out.
Get off my hair.
Iconoblast. We put the past on blast. Hit 'em with the truth, with things you never knew. Nobody is safe, no thing to place. Got Joel and Coop with history in your face. Iconoblast.
Well, anyway, welcome to the Iconoblast podcast. This is the show that takes a look behind the public facades of famous icons to show you why you can never take anything at face value. My name is Matt Cooper. Across from me, as always, is Joel Benner. And today we are joined by the one and only host of the Skeleton Factory, Adam Hester.
Hello.
Hi, Adam.
Welcome back. How long has it been since the last time you were on the show? It's been a couple months, right?
It's been quite a few months since it's the old
Squid
studio.
Games? Was it the Squid Games?
No, that was like the first episode that you were on, wasn't it?
So
like
you know what?
Squid
Last
Game,
time I
except
was
there's
on a
Con?
show is when Conman was still in the Iconoblast studio. That's how long ago it was.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it has been quite a while. We've been out of that studio for longer than I thought.
Where's Sean? Sean's dead, right? Clinton's got him.
Sean has been replaced by a body double. The CIA finally caught up with him, as far as I know.
Yeah, they got the drummer from Limp Bizkit to replace him.
Find
Greatest
Sean.
drummer since Neil Peart, also. Just throwing that out there.
What about you, Coop? How's your last couple of weeks been?
Oh, it's been wonderful, beautiful.
Yeah?
I've been enjoying it very much. That's why we missed a show last week for the first time in damn near 100 episodes.
Yeah, 94.
94 episodes.
Something like that.
Finally missed a week of the show. But yeah, I've been going through the process of finding a new job and putting my life back together. And I had a very good string of luck where after becoming unemployed, very shortly after, my car decided to break down in an H-E-B parking lot, which anybody who is from outside of Texas, H-E-B is a grocery store. It's essentially like Vons or Kroger's or Safeway, Ralph's, Albertsons.
S-Mart.
Kind of on crack.
Smart,
though. Yeah,
Shop
Shop
S-Mart.
Smart, Shop S-Mart. They don't sell guns, though, and they should because this
Kmart
is Texas.
They
Why
should.
does
Wait,
H-E-B
H-E-B
not
doesn't sell
have
guns?
guns?
I didn't know that.
Yet.
I've gone in there for a gun so many times over the course of the last 2 weeks. Like, just asking the customers at this point, like, hey, dude, can I just borrow a pistol?
Everyone's got a gun in Texas.
Let me just have a pistol for like 5 minutes.
At least sell ammo.
No, not even ammo.
Like with the cigarettes. Just,
Oh, dude, a vending machine that was ammo and cigarettes? That's badass.
that is pretty much the manliest shit.
Yeah.
They need to bring back those vending machines that sell cigarettes.
They're still around.
There's one at the White Horse.
Yeah,
There is?
They're hard to find, but they're still around.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought they were illegal.
I think that's...
No.
Adam and I shared a pack of Camel menthols. I think they came from one of those. We were at that... Wasn't it from that bar that... We were at that weird bar that we got the shitty tacos out of?
I don't know.
There's an outdoor food truck, and then there was supposed to be a
Oh,
band
yeah, that was the White
playing.
Horse.
Yeah, we bought a
White
pack
Horse
there.
is just some old fucking honky-tonk bar. But
Shit, White Horse sounds like my kind of place.
It's cool.
Considering
it's
I was
actually the
white at
first
time.
place we had a phone conversation.
I recall.
Yeah, that's where I was at.
Yeah, I still haven't
They sell
been there
cigarettes there.
They sell cigarettes from a machine.
yet. I got to get back into smoking.
It's like, how is there not cigarette machines with all the technology that exists?
Coop, you're out of your mind. You vape and you dip now.
No,
at the
I don't
same
dip.
time. Well,
don't
you,
dip.
you fake dip,
Yeah, fake dip. I use Lucy.
which seems
is-
like it has more nicotine than both combined.
Oh yeah, I'm jacked up on nicotine 24 hours a day now. I fall asleep with these packs on my lip. It's
That's
great.
crazy.
I have the best dreams and the worst sleep.
Just get a nicotine patch over your eye like Dan Crenshaw.
Instead of having one of those sleep masks, just a nicotine patch over both eyes and
Yeah.
dip in your lips. Yeah, that's what I should do. So yeah, anyway, overall, yeah, everything's
hunky dory.
everything's amazing. It's been going really great.
Great life.
My car is no longer running. My rent is no longer being paid. I am on the verge of a meltdown, and I love my life. I'm grateful for everything. Grateful for every moment that I'm alive.
Oh.
That's good.
And someone else who's always on the verge of a meltdown.
Is Macho Man Randy
Yeah.
Savage. The topic of our show today.
It's gonna be okay, Coop.
It's gonna be.
It won't be, but it'll be okay.
You're okay.
Yeah, see,
You're okay.
You're okay.
That's a good thing about life is it's never okay, but it eventually ends.
Yes.
And that's what we all have to strive
You just
for.
got to accept you're going back to the college days. You got to just accept and be okay with the fact that you're old, and that's okay, even when you're living in your car.
Yeah, if
It doesn't run.
If I still had a car, yes, I would be like, oh, cool. I can.
Well, you have a car, it just
I can
doesn't
just move into my car with my 2 dogs.
Yeah, I could see that. I lived in my car with whiskey for like 3 months.
I lived in my car with my dogs for 2 months or
Yeah.
something like that. Split my time between a hotel and in my car.
Yeah, it sucks sometimes, but there's some great moments. Like I remember one time when I was living in my truck with whiskey.
I don't think you had the same experiences that I did because it sucked the entire time.
Oh no, it was awful. But I know like one time I had to pee real bad, so I went to pee in McDonald's. And by the time I came back out, whiskey had chewed the entire handle off to my passenger side door.
Because he was hungry.
Because she was hungry. Yeah, and then I gave
So
her
you're
a
going to
hamburger.
McDonald's.
And it was
without him.
Back then, the burgers were 59 cents.
in her defense, it was better than eating at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Good
let's
life.
jump into the topic because I'm really looking forward to hearing it. So Adam's going to be
Speaking of
reading
something exciting and positive, like we've been great positive start to the show, Macho Man.
Macho Man Randy Savage. We aren't going to get into a heated debate about if professional wrestling is real or not, because we all know it's real. Kayfabe. So let's leave the lies of pro wrestling being fake in a plastic bag full of poopy, set it down on your grandmother's porch, light it on fire, ring the doorbell, and run. Then hide in the bushes and watch your grandma try to put the fire out, get shit on her slippers, then fall and shatter her pelvis. Oh, God bless Granny. She's a good sport. You all cheer and run off to the park and practice your favorite wrestling moves on each other, the Stone Cold Stunner, the Rock Bottom, the Pedigree, or the Flying Elbow Drop from the 1987 WWF King of the Ring, Macho Man Randy Savage. Adam, if you would.
Yeah. Adam just put on the shades. I wish they were the official shades. But
Adam
these will
does
do.
the best Macho Man impression I have ever heard.
Yeah.
I'm talking all the way to the top, yeah. Justifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, yeah. But the cream, the cream will always rise to the top, yeah. Macho Man, Macho Madness, yeah. We've got, you're casting a lot of shadows I don't like.
Is
Okay,
it better?
yeah, that's good. Macho Madness, yeah. Has got more to offer than President Jack Tunney thinks that I got. Yeah, let me tell you something right now. Cards stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. Let me tell you something, yeah. Let me say it out loud. And let me point out to the president of the World Wrestling Federation that the Macho Man Randy Savage is not happy, yeah, with your decision. Yeah, I am the cream of the World Wrestling Federation. And there's no doubt about it, yeah, that you, Mean Gene Okerlund, you know that I am the cream of the crop. Yeah, dig it.
That is a quote from the late and great Macho Man Randy Savage, one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time, possibly the greatest pro wrestler of all time. Sure.
The GOAT.
The GOAT. The Macho Man had 29 championship reigns in his 32-year career as a pro wrestler, including 2 WWF World Heavyweight Champion titles and 4 as the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. He was a one-time WWF Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, and he was named by the WWE as the greatest title holder that ever lived.
Yeah.
I had no idea that his career was that prolific. I knew that he was hot shit, but
WrestleMania 4 was like there was a heavyweight tournament that they set up where they did a whole bracket system, and then at WrestleMania 4 it would be the last 4 matches, and Macho wrestled 4 times in one night. And every time he came out, new ring gear, fucking bedazzled robe, Elizabeth wearing, like, it was sick. He beat 4 fucking guys in one night, beat fucking $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. And okay, anyone go online, look at fucking the moment that Macho Man beats $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. This is like flashbulb era. This is no phones. It's flashbulbs. Look at the moment where he gets up on the top rope and he perches for the fucking big elbow. Just frame by frame. The amount of fucking bulbs that go off, and you see everyone fucking stand up is the greatest fucking moment, next to probably Hulk's stare down with Andre the Giant in WrestleMania 3. That's like that Macho about to drop the fucking elbow. I'm shaking thinking about it. It's the greatest moment in wrestling history.
See, I'm glad that I have you guys here for this episode because, well, first of all, Joel researched and wrote this episode.
Yeah.
And second of all, I think, Adam, you know more about wrestling than anybody else that I have ever met in my life.
Yeah. I thought I was a wrestling fan until I met Adam.
I know next to nothing about it.
It's all I watched instead of going to elementary school as a child. Because I learned how to count to 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Savage was the 1987 WWF King of the Ring and the 1995 WCW World War III winner. He won World War III?
It happened. It already happened.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah.
We got to bring him back from the dead because we're going to need him pretty soon.
Yeah, for World War IV. Everyone
Yeah,
thinks it's 3 because he beat it so
4?
easily.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't World War IV just going to be a reboot of World War I? Isn't that how they usually do?
That's how they do it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They'll just call it the First World War.
Bringing back trench
It's a prequel to World War I.
It's World War I's origin story.
Yeah, it's people flicking fucking paper footballs at fucking the back of Kraut's necks. Being like, "What's up your craw?"
You see how World War I's mom got shot in an alley when he was a little kid?
Yeah. Very good.
That's right. The Macho Man won World War III. He was the headliner in a shit ton of PPV events, pay-per-view?
Pay-per-view.
Events throughout his entire career, including WrestleMania 4, 5, and 8, 4 of the first 5 SummerSlam pay-per-views, and the 1995 Starrcade.
Very neat.
Starrcade sounds like some sort of hipster arcade that they would have here in Austin.
Yeah.
It's the WrestleMania of WCW.
Yeah.
That's what it is?
That's the equivalent.
I explained what it is.
That's the big show.
In the next, because I knew no one would know what that was.
Well, you know that I wouldn't know what that was.
Well, anyone that was
Also, WrestleMania 5, that's when Hulk beat Macho for the title.
Really?
Yeah, that one was real good.
Why couldn't they just be friends?
They were tag team
Yeah, if
partners.
it's an undisputed title, what's all the fighting about?
The Starrcade 95 World Cup of Wrestling was the 13th annual Starrcade Professional Wrestling pay-per-view event produced by WCW and took place during Christmas in Nashville, Tennessee. Savage was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2015, 4 years after his death. He's dead?
Yeah,
He's
died.
dead.
Fuck, spoiler alert. Joel, I got to say, your grammar and punctuation
It's improving.
it's getting really good.
I normally
No,
even,
like all
I
this
even
has been real solid so far.
you're lying. 'Cause
No, I'm
this
not
is the
even.
first one
I'm
that
not
I
even
haven't
joking.
double checked before giving it to you.
Really? Well, stop double checking.
Oh, I ruin it when
you
I
do
double
better on
check.
the first pass. No, don't overthink it. Just go with your gut.
Okay.
I think everyone knows who the Macho Man is, even if you weren't a wrestling fan. He found his way into every home around the world, especially with those insane 90s Slim Jim commercials.
Those are the
Step
best.
into a Slim Jim.
Yeah. See, you know that.
Yeah.
Even my lady knew that. She was like, "Who is this?" She didn't really know. I'm like, "The Slim Jim guy," and she was like, "Oh, the crazy guy."
That's what he's known throughout the world is he's the crazy guy.
Hey,
Yeah, the Slim Jim
snap
Macho
into a
Man
Slim
Slim
Jim.
Oh, crazy Slim Jim, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember him. But what we don't know about Macho Man is a lot. Some good, some naughty. Let's elbow drop into the Macho Man's history a bit. Randy Savage's real name is, I don't like this. No,
Yeah.
it's Randy Savage. His real name is Randy Savage.
True.
Yeah, like Adam Savage.
Yeah, he's Adam Savage's brother. Yeah. His real name is Randall Mario Poffo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder he changed his name.
Yeah.
Why didn't he go by Macho Man Mario Savage?
That's pretty good.
I'm a plumber, yeah.
Gonna clean those pipes. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, yeah.
He was born in the early 50s. He was born in the 50s?
1952.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
was born in 1952 in Columbus, Ohio, and he was from. I am blown away by every piece of this information so far. He was born in Ohio.
Yeah.
I thought only astronauts came out of Ohio. Well, astronauts, meth heads, and aspiring filmmakers come out of Ohio.
Well, he is sort of an astronomical.
And Devo is from Ohio.
Yeah,
Devo's
he is
from
astronomical.
Ohio,
And the Black
too?
Keys
And he is a
and David
cocaine
Allan Coe. All from
I think
Ohio.
that's the reason that there's so many jokes about Ohio being one of the worst states in the country is because so many amazing things have come out of Ohio.
Drew Carey show.
Christopher Columbus is from
Okay,
there
well
too.
maybe not that many great things. No, I like was it Colin Mockery and Ryan Stiles? I like those guys. Never been a fan of Drew Carey.
Yeah.
They always kind of bugged me. Also, the state that has had the most amount of astronauts come out of it is Ohio.
Is Ohio.
Randall's
Okey-dokey.
father was Italian American and his mother was Jewish. Savage was raised Catholic with a strong religious upbringing, but this didn't stop him or his father. It stopped him or his father from doing what? A lot of
Being
coke?
Jewish?
They were very religious, but that didn't stop them from being
The
Jewish.
Hebrew hammer, yeah. Yeah, shalom, Can't snap into a Slim Jim. It's got pork products, yeah.
Got to turn off all these lights. It's the Sabbath.
Oh yeah.
Daddy was a pro wrestler in secret. He was kind of like Nacho Libre and would sneak out at night and have wrestling matches to make extra money for his family. No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That was the good old days of like wrestling nepotism. That's when shit mattered. Because there wasn't like one company that ruled all of wrestling. There was like dozens and dozens in every state.
Yeah.
So-
and they were
so-
still. It was before people knew it was fake too.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
it was
like 40
similar
Like in
to-
Texas, you had the Von Erichs, and then you had the fucking Randy Poffo and his brother, and The Rock and his whole family. Anyone who's Samoans related to The Rock who wrestles professionally.
Oh, and also the Rock's family. They are prolific fuckers. Like they fuck everything.
They're all from the Bay Area.
everybody, yeah, yeah.
All those guys, all Bay Area guys.
I didn't know Samoa was in the Bay Area.
A lot of people don't know
It's
that.
crazy how small the world is.
I thought Samoa. I thought you had to take like a portal
To get to
to
Samoa.
get to Samoa and it's on another
portal.
planet. Yeah.
Like it's the Nether
Like the Burning
in
Crusade.
Minecraft.
Like it's Stargate.
Holy shit, those are like the two nerdiest fucking references that we could have possibly made to portals.
Just to get to some Samoan people.
Yeah. Samoa is like an island off the coast of Kalimdor.
Oh.
Oh god. Pro
What's up,
tip for anybody
bitches?
who's listening to the show.
Send us alcohol.
Stop.
Yeah, do not get benchmark whiskey. Stuff tastes like ass.
All right.
So his daddy was a pro wrestler who would sneak out to do wrestling matches to make money on the side. Like,
Which means his dad was a badass, especially
Yeah.
back in those days. 'Cause
Yeah,
that was the equivalent of being a spy. Like kayfabe was real, so it was like he couldn't tell his family, and he wasn't big
first.
enough to be his character outside of the ring. Like
It
mass
expands, though.
wrestlers,
It expands.
like back in the day, like you were your character 24 hours a day, no matter where you went.
Yeah.
so what? He was like elbow dropping his wife.
Maybe.
No, maybe not Daddy, but Sonny Boy was. We'll get to that later.
So Macho Man's father was known as the Masked Miser, or some would refer to him as the Carpetbagger. Not the greatest names. What was he?
Hey, that
he
was
a
hot. That was
Huckleberry
hot
Finn
language
fan?
back then. That was hot language in the 40s, man.
Well,
Yeah.
at least he didn't use another reference
Yeah.
from Huckleberry Finn. They referred to him as the. No, I'm not going to say it. Okay, maybe it wasn't really a secret.
It was a book.
but
They'd light him on fire.
over the course of his career, he earned himself a handful of titles, including a tag team championship. He also held a world record for sit-ups, doing 6,033 sit-ups in 4 hours. It would take me 4 years to do that many sit-ups.
Yeah.
And like father, like son, rumor has it that Randy would do 1,500 sit-ups every single morning. It's probably pretty easy to do when you're on that much cocaine.
And steroids.
Probably. Did you
And
know Ric
steroids.
Flair does 500 free squats every morning? He still does it. He's in his 70s.
Fuck,
Jesus Christ.
He did one video recently of him
not
and I
even
think his
40, I
daughter.
can't do that.
They do just 500 free squats, which is insane to me.
What's a free squat?
You just squat down and stand back up.
Squat
without weights.
any weight?
No weight.
Okay, I'm not that impressed.
Okay, do 10.
No,
Yeah.
I can do it.
Do 250.
I can do it.
What's
I just
so-
don't want it.
we got a show to do right now.
They're so easy, but then after
The rest
like
of the
10,
shows
you're
is
like,
you doing free squats and us judging you.
No, you
Mike,
guys,
that's why you don't have 16 world titles, Coop.
Yeah,
you guys read the information. I'll be standing right here doing
doing
squats.
free squats.
Macho Man's father also made it into the WWF as his son's manager, and even had the pleasure of getting figure 4 leg locked by the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Woo!
Daddy Savage was inducted into the WCW Hall of Fame and lived a full life watching his son rise to the top of the pro wrestling insanity. It's the cream of the crop, rises to the top.
That's
right.
Sadly, he died in 2010, but interesting enough, it was only a year before his son Randy also died.
Yeah.
That's
We'll get into that later, but the spiral of bullshit that Randy goes through before he dies, you're like, oh, makes sense.
Was it sort of like a Johnny Cash, June Carter type thing where Macho Man just died of a broken heart?
Yeah. Lost his wife, lost his second wife, lost
yeah,
his dad.
Yeah, probably.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
The Macho Man also had a brother who was also a professional wrestler who went by the name The Genius. But fuck him, it doesn't seem like he made much of it. He did help his father run the family business and stuff like that, but he was probably a good son. Who cares? Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Before Dr. Savage was a top rope diving badass, he took a shot at becoming a baseball player and was actually pretty successful. Savage was signed by the St. Louis Cardinals right out of high school. He was placed in the minor leagues to develop his skills. So he was a...
Wait, quick thing about his pops first. I thought I wrote it in there. That's why I should have checked it. But his dad ended up owning and running, maybe it comes back to it, but he ended up owning and running his own wrestling company and everything. And that's what got Randy into meeting Vince McMahon. They had deals going, and they actually butted heads. And why Randy's dad never got into the Big Show was because they didn't get along. Like Vince and him had a meeting. They were going to like combine the companies or something.
Wait, they were trying to get into the Big Show? Like they were trying to
Not
fuck
the
him?
wrestler.
Yeah, they're trying to have sex with the
But
Big
you know,
Show.
like it was a whole
Why
thing,
not?
and he basically told Vince McMahon to fuck off, or
Yeah. Vince
something
McMahon
like
wasn't
that.
respected back in those days.
because it was another up and coming company.
Because his father ran what was at the time the WWF, and he was part of the whatchamacallit, the territory system, where there was all these different territories. And he was
WWF?
yeah, the WWF, and then it became the WWF, and then when he
What's
got,
the extra W?
I don't know, something to do with the internet.
Worldwide
Worldwide Wrestling
Eight-
Foundation?
yeah,
It was a world,
Federation.
Yeah, Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that was the thing is like Vince McMahon, they were just like, fuck you, kid. Like, that's the thing is he wasn't around wrestling. He was like he was like in military school. He was like some rich kid. And then he like,
Vince McMahon?
yeah. And then he worked as an
I figured
announcer.
He was a rich kid. He was in military school?
Yeah. And that was the whole thing is like, he wasn't raised necessarily around wrestling. So when he took over his dad's business, they're like, who the fuck is this kid? Like, what kind of nepotism horseshit is this? And then he
Yeah.
became Vince McMahon. Which,
So Vince
yeah.
Vince McMahon's dad started a wrestling federation, and then Vince came in and
took
it
it
over
over.
later?
Yeah.
Okay, I always kind of wondered where Vince McMahon came
And that
from.
was the thing
I knew
is,
that he
like,
came from
Vince-
money.
Stephanie McMahon's in charge now.
Yeah. But back when there was a territory
Quote, unquote.
system, Vince McMahon is the one who went up and bought all the
Stephanie
territories.
McMahon's husband is in charge, and she's the face.
Allegedly.
Triple H.
That was the thing is Vince McMahon went in and bought all the companies in the United States. So like everyone who was in those like early fucking like 80s, like the WrestleMania era, like Rowdy Piper was wrestling up in Portland. All the fucking Samoan guys were in Bay Area. Minnesota, you had like Mr. Perfect. I think out in Florida, he had Hulk Hogan before he was Hulk Hogan. It's like he basically just went in and like picked everyone that he wanted who was like the
Wait,
best.
Hulk Hogan before he was what?
Before he was Hulk Hogan.
Who was he before?
He was Sterling Silver, Terry Boulder.
Oh,
He was a gay porn actor?
Yes,
Dude,
that's
the-
how everyone gets into
the
the
Macho
business.
Man's
Everyone
the
knows
Macho
it.
Man's wrestling names before Macho Man.
I mean, come on, carpetbagger.
I chose not to put them in the.
You should have put
They're
him
very
in.
racist.
They're very racist. No, they're not, but they are.
Savage was signed by the St. Louis Cardinals right out of high school. He was placed in the minor leagues to develop his skills. Larry Herndon, a fellow teammate and future coach, caught Savage spending hours swinging his baseball bat into a car tire, strengthening his hands and legs and mastering his swing. This technique was so successful, Larry started using it for the rest of his career as a baseball coach.
Yeah, they were teammates, and then that guy later became a famous coach apparently, and has his entire team. I don't either. I just read it, so I don't even really know. But because he saw Randy doing that shit when they were on the same team together in the minor leagues. When he became a professional major league baseball coach, he had everyone hitting tires all day long.
Which is psychotic to me. Some kid out of high school, it's like, they're like, look at this kid over here who's psychotically hitting a tire with a baseball bat. I want all you motherfuckers to do that. That's insane to me.
Yeah, that's badass though.
Yeah.
And also do
This is like no beard Macho Man. Just
this is little baby boy Macho Man.
Are there pictures of him without his beard?
Yeah, there's him in a Cincinnati Reds. There's a beautiful photo actually.
Really?
In a Cincinnati Reds outfit, no beard.
You should see him when he got inducted to the Hall of Fame.
I don't want to see him
or
without
before
a beard.
that, the photos they used.
It's
like the last photos of him before he died. He's like gray. Everything is white. He looks exactly the same, but it's all white, and he's in a Hawaiian shirt. He's still ripped, but he's got a beer belly, and he has a hot new wife that he just married again before he died.
I don't want to see any of that. I want to have my fondest memories of the Macho Man.
Yeah.
That's like going and seeing, one of your fond relatives on their deathbed. It's like, hey, sometimes it's
he looked good.
Just,
that's the thing.
Just remember the.
Well, it's like Ric Flair had his last match recently.
He looked awesome,
and he looked like dog shit.
No, but it was great though.
It was hard to watch.
It was hard to watch.
They did make it a tag match, so he wasn't in the ring constantly.
Did they let him bring his walker into the ring? Was he able to
Dude, he could barely walk. He cut himself. There was fucking pins in him. He had tacks in him and shit.
Jesus Christ.
He went for it.
He went for it, but it's like, it broke my heart. I was like, you don't have to do that, dude. You're already Ric Flair. You don't have to have another match. It's fine.
Why would he go back and do that? Like, was that for him or was that for the fans?
Have you guys not seen Rocky Balboa?
It might have been for money.
He had something left in the basement.
Okay,
no, he's not. He's not financially unstable. It was he needed it.
I don't know. I think he needed the money.
I think he wanted one more. He wanted to get.
And I think he maybe wanted one more.
Yeah.
But I think he needed the money too. Because Ric Flair has like 3 fucking ex-wives and a bunch of kids.
He's got a lot of alimony and child
I want to know
support
if it was
to pay.
money. I think it was the love of the game because his walkout, he was like crying. He like hugged people and like went through this whole thing. And either he was acting to get that money or it was real.
Or he was crying because he was like, I can finally get all my ex-wives off my back and abandon all these children.
It's like, I outlived all my ex-wives. Can you imagine being in your 70s and having ex-wives you have to pay alimony to?
Ugh, awful.
I can't imagine being in my 70s.
They would call me the shotgun in the mouth Ric Flair.
Even though pro wrestling is scripted and the fights are... Hey, dude.
Hey.
Why you got to put that in there?
Just put the N-word or something that's less offensive.
Yeah, much less offensive. Even though pro wrestling is scripted and the fights are choreographed, it doesn't mean there isn't hell to pay for the abuse wrestlers go through for the sport. Which, that's actually very, very true. I think that... So, kayfabe is one of the most amazing concepts that I've ever heard of because...
Yeah.
What is kayfabe
Staying in character.
Oh.
And, staying in character regardless of what happens. And so from my understanding, I think Adam can probably expand on this better. From my understanding, it's a combination of improv and method acting. Where you're staying in character, you're improvising, but no matter what happens, you are staying in character. You can get brutally...
He was.
Brutally
Wrestlers are
He was until he wasn't.
Did you say Vince McMahon was the best?
Oh, dude.
Really?
He had more fucked up shit has happened, and that dude runs out. Like, anytime something goes off script or something fucked up is going down, Vince McMahon is the one that runs out into the ring and makes up the rest of the show live right in front of everybody. He just starts yelling at people, pretending like this happened, and he makes it up right there on the fly and rewrites the script in person on the day, in the moment. Even if he rips both the tendons in his fucking shins and can't even walk. There's like a, what was it? Not as...
Could he do it on the level of Mick Foley, though?
No.
No,
Mick Foley was the king of that.
Mick Foley was the king of that.
But it was,
Vince McMahon was one of the best.
But like back in the day, it was literally like bad guys and good guys had different locker rooms, and they weren't allowed to travel, drink, go to a restaurant together because you're on the road 300 plus days a year. Like if you're homies with a guy who's like a good guy and you're a bad guy, you can't even be seen together in public.
Level of segregation.
I mean, a Waffle House at 3 a.m. in the middle of fucking Ohio. You can't be having fucking...
Yeah, this was the era when they were still
waffles.
trying to pull off that it was real.
So
you could not have, like, when Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man were enemies, they were not allowed to ever be together after that, once it became part of the storyline that they were enemies. Because if you ever saw them together, it would ruin fucking everything.
So similar to bands like Slipknot, Mushroom Head, and Avenged Sevenfold back in the day, where they just had to keep their stage personas all the time.
Yeah,
something like that. I was saying Insane Clown Posse, because really,
like imagine if you were a kid.
They're about that life for real.
Imagine if you were a kid and you saw like Arnold and the T-1000 hanging out.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, I would be fucking stoked.
But if you were a kid and you're in that stage of like full believing what you see, it would like be devastating. You would be like, what? It's not real? It's like finding out Santa Claus isn't real.
Yeah.
And so they had to keep that persona. Back then, it wasn't until like the late 90s or the 90s where they started being like, oh, let's admit that it's fake.
So wrestling is Santa Claus for adults.
Yes.
Well, and kids. Actually, it spans all generations.
Well, yeah, it's a man opera. It's the male version of soap operas.
Are you saying that men can't watch soap operas?
Well, they do, but it's not as much.
That's why it's not the real house husbands of Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, because there's no drama amongst men.
No,
so it wouldn't really work.
They would have to settle it with physical violence.
Yes, there is.
So
it's
wrestling.
literally
so it should
yes, there is. It's called WWE.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
You can watch it right now.
It's just easier to have a ring and like book matches.
It's the Real Housewives, but it's more organized and everybody's friends afterwards.
And everyone's jacked and on steroids and oily.
Yeah.
And free of body hair.
I like that much better.
I like that a lot.
That's because it's for us.
We could do a whole episode on just the physical and mental damage being a pro wrestler causes. Just watch the movie The Wrestler. It's a very good example of a wrestler's life, and it's a really good movie. That is a good movie.
It's a very good movie. It's probably my favorite Darren Aronofsky movie.
Yeah.
Things go wrong, people get hurt, or people die. Even when things go right, things still break. Mm-hmm. Diamond Dallas Page broke his back on a perfectly executed bump from Kevin Nash. Quote, "It was just the straw that broke the camel's back," said Page, ending his career.
Yeah.
God damn.
It was literally a power bomb. Just you put him between your legs, you lift him up over your head and slam him. It was in the mat. It wasn't even out at the ring. It was just on the mat. He landed a little off, or it was just his time. Boom, 2 vertebrae.
And Diamond Dallas Page, like now, he's old as fuck, but he's DDP yoga strong. Like that motherfucker can do a standing split. He's in really good shape. Diamond Dallas Page looks like shit, but that dude has always been like green juices, like eating healthy, was never like partying like everyone else. Like he started wrestling old. Like he wasn't a young guy. Like he started like deep into his 30s.
Industry. How do you maintain yourself in that industry without being on all the drugs that
you don't?
You don't. You just keep going until your body
body gives out. Like, that makes sense. Many wrestlers have lost their lives to this male soap opera of a sport. Wrestlers like Eddie Guerrero, who had a heart attack in the middle of the ring.
He was our age.
Yeah. He was like 35?
Lucky bastard.
I don't know.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.
You got to go hard if you want
the light that burns twice as bright burns half as long.
Burning the candle at both ends.
Did you make up that?
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just now.
I'll suck your dick after the show.
Shit,
Thank you.
we should have got our stories on the same page. I just contradicted you. King Kong Kirk, maybe lesser known, but wrestled against icons like Bret Hart and Andre the Giant, also had a heart attack during a match, later dying in the hospital. Luther Lindsay also had a heart attack in the ring and actually died while making a pin. He literally died while pinning a man. God,
That's epic.
That's how I want to
He was
go.
having a heart attack and he could feel it, but what's it called? Kayfabe?
Kayfabe.
He was so into it and didn't want to break character because he knew something was wrong. He was like, ah!
Yeah.
And finished the pin and actually died during pinning and was dead cold right
That's
there
amazing.
That is
in the
fucking
ring.
amazing.
Yeah. I think that's a good way
I
to
feel
go.
like that's how Ric Flair wanted to go, and it just
That's what he was
Yeah.
hoping for.
He was
That was
hoping
who
he
he's
was gonna
hoping
get killed
for?
in the ring. That's why he was crying when he left the ring. He was like, I'm supposed to die
damn
in the field with honor.
Wrestlers are
Lieutenant
kind of
Dan,
like wrestlers are kind of like Spartans. Like they,
But it's fake.
Spartans, Vikings. Well, no, in these cases, it's very real.
Yeah, the punishment
died
is
in the
real.
ring.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool seeing. Did you ever see that clip of Brock Lesnar getting pissed off at a wrestler and then fucking just piecing him up with a 1-2? That dude Braun Strowman.
You showed that to me.
Yeah, when he fucking punched Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
And Braun Strowman he's from like a strongman background. He's like 6'10", he's like 330. He's enormous. And it was a thing where like he just threw a knee a little too hard on Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar
Pissed him
just
off a little bit.
was just like motherfucker, and he just hit like a Mike Tyson like combo, just uppercut and then bam, just straight punch,
Damn.
and then the dude just drops, and everyone's like, oh shit, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Don't they have a word for that? Like a
Potato.
but
When you potato someone, that means you fucking hit them a little too hard.
oh, that's what I thought that there was.
Unless you're trying
happening
to,
all the time.
bleed.
Well, I thought that there was a specific term for when one of the wrestler, like the person that you're competing against, pisses you off.
Yeah.
And you kind of check them. You hit them a little
Oh, yeah.
harder.
There's a name for that. Like
I thought it was called like a bump or something.
No, a bump is just any
Bump is
Oh, that's
All
a
right, yeah,
tiny
that's like
little
a-
hit of coke that you take off of a key or off of a finger.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
correct.
Just to keep the show
A
going.
bump is like, all right, you're gonna take a bump on this. You're the one losing. You're gonna take a big bump. We're gonna throw you off the top ropes and do a thing. That's like you get paid more too if you take a big bump.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not what I'm thinking of, because the one that I'm thinking of is it's not planned. It's something that
No, that's like
happens-
between
happens in the
wrestlers.
moment.
If you are like if you're fucking it up and they're kind of getting irritated,
that has
they'll give you a
happened.
warning shot.
There's a term called going into business for yourself, where you just fucking decide to fuck the other guy up for no
Hulk
reason.
Hogan would do that actually, from what I know.
Hulk Hogan.
He was a cunt, dude.
There was a
Hogan?
show.
I
Hogan,
could see
yeah.
that.
There's a comedian.
He wanted to be the best so
Richard
bad that
Belzer.
he would fuck you up if you mess with him at all.
I think it was was it Special Victims Unit, the one with Ice-T. Richard Belzer, who is the Detective Munch. He was a comedian forever and ever and ever, and he had a show back in the 80s. It was like a David Letterman type show, late night show, and Hulk Hogan was on there, and he was kind of poking Hulk. This is like prime Hulk. He's like, I don't know, the stuff you guys do, I don't know, it seems a little questionable. And Hulk's like, oh, okay, well, actually, this was to hype up WrestleMania 1.
it was
So
to hype
Mr.
up
T was
Thunderlips,
there,
right?
and he's like, well, come here. He's like, here's
Guy
a
from Salute Your Shorts.
yes,
No, Rocky III.
No,
Wasn't it Thunderlips? The Hulk Hogan played?
yes, you're thinking
Yeah.
of
Donkey Lips.
Donkey Lips. So he's like, well, here's a basic hold we do. This is just a front face lock, which is referred to now as a guillotine choke. So he's like, come here, Richard Belzer. He's like, this is a basic choke. And Hulk, 24-inch pythons, just puts Richard Belzer's skinny neck in his arms. And he's like, what we do is we just squeeze. And then Richard Belzer goes unconscious. And Hulk lets him go. And Richard Belzer's head bounces off the fucking stage. His head busts open. He wakes up, because when you get choked out, you will suddenly just wake up. And he stands up and is like, okay, we're going to commercial.
I've seen that.
But yeah, he filed.
He turned into a MTV VJ, didn't he?
No, not that I'm aware of. But
Oh, I thought that
Richard
he did.
Belzer,
I've seen that
he
clip,
sued
though.
Hulk Hogan. He sued Vince McMahon.
Pussy.
Yeah. Well, there's the famous Dr. D. David Schultz, where John Stossel
money,
is
you know what I'm
like,
saying?
he's like, I think what you guys are doing is fake. And Dr. D. David Schultz just bitch slaps the fuck out of John Stossel.
Wasn't Mr. T involved in something like that also?
Yeah, he also fought Rocky. So that was after
He was there. I mean, he
Rocky
was there
fought
when Hulk
Thunderlips.
choked out Richard Belzer.
That's okay. That's what I'm thinking of.
He's like, yeah, he's just sleeping right now. And he's just blood's pouring out of his fucking head.
His body's twitching.
But that's protecting kayfabe. That's a classic example.
Yeah.
Protecting kayfabe live on TV.
Wrestlers are by far the greatest actors ever. Because you
not breaking character, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of
I wanted to
breaking
say
character,
what Hulk Hogan would do, like there's two sides to that, right? There's Hulk Hogan whenever he had to lose a match or had to act hurt by someone else, he would never really commit to letting someone else whoop his ass. Like, for example, the opposite of that is what's his name? I sent you the clip. You sent me the clip, I think. The guy is a wrestler. What's his name? He's not the ass man. It's like Mr. Nice Guy, or what the fuck's his name? He was like the best at selling how powerful someone else is. And there's like montage.
It was Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect, yeah. Mr. Perfect is like, okay, I have to lose this. I'm going to lose better than anyone's ever lost. And then like Hulk Hogan does like this little tiny hit that looks like it wouldn't even hurt a kid, and Mr. Perfect will fly across the ring, fly out of the ring, and land in the fucking crowd from a punch.
He was the perfect 80s bad guy.
Yeah.
And he was top tier, so it was like when they were trying to build up a fucking good guy, they were like, okay, eventually you get to Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then you get to like
Whoop his
fucking
ass.
like Ted DiBiase or whatever, and then you go to WrestleMania against whoever the fuck.
Yeah, like half of it is selling that you're badass. The other half is selling that person's badass. Mm-hmm.
And also
Hulk
Mr.
Hogan's known for being like, I'm not. He'll
And classic
take those
bad
punches
guys?
and act like they don't hurt when he's supposed to be losing.
Yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
And Mr. Perfect's like catchphrase was always like, "No one beats Mr. Perfect. Nobody." And like that motherfucker lost all the time. It was brilliant. It was so brilliant. He was so badass.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, look up Mr. Perfect it's called like Mr. Perfect selling punches, and there's a montage of it. Watch it. It's great.
Well, I wish I had some sort of phonetic spelling for this, or phonetic pronunciation for this next one. Hijo del Perro Aguayo. You might not recognize this man's name or be able to pronounce it. You are correct. But he was a famous luchador in Mexico. I wonder if El Amnesio knows him. He was fighting in a tag team match against Rey Mysterio Jr., and Mysterio performed one of his high-flying drop kicks to Aguayo's back, sending him to the mat. Moments later, the wrestler noticed that Aguayo was unconscious. He was taken to the hospital and was pronounced dead at around midnight that night. Cardiac arrest was the cause of the death. He had 3 broken vertebrae and a cervical stroke.
Yeah.
He fucked up his cervix?
I didn't know Rey
Why did he even
Mysterio
have a
Jr.
cervix?
killed a guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, he had a heart attack.
Brian Ong died 3
from
days
the
after a head injury during training. He was practicing a new move with his opponent, and he landed on his head, dead. $1 million was paid to his family because of negligence from the company.
Yeah, like
Jesus Christ, there's a lot of wrestlers that
Yeah,
died
he
doing
fell
this
on his
shit.
head and was like, "I'm fine," but he had a concussion or something, and then the match they were practicing, they did it the next day, and then the next day he died from the injury.
Well, yeah.
Isn't that how Liam Neeson's wife died? She got a head injury and died
Didn't
a couple
take
days
care of it.
later?
Yeah,
Yeah, she took a chair shot from
from
Terry
the
Funk.
Undertaker.
at an ECW pay-per-view.
And, of course, one of the most famous deaths in wrestling is Owen Hart. I remember this one. This is like one of the few that I actually know about. During 1999's Over the Edge pay-per-view, Owen was to perform a stunt where he swings down from the rafters of the auditorium. During Owen Hart's descent into the ring, Hart accidentally activated the early release mechanism while he was still 78 feet above the ring. He fell to his death and was officially pronounced dead a few hours later at the hospital.
Dude, I watched that shit live.
Yeah, I remember that. It's just because they just cut to the crowd shot,
Oh, the camera pans away really
and we're
fast.
like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah,
And then
super wide shot. You even saw him fall for a second. It was like "Ah!" Cut. And you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck's
I
going
didn't see
on?
him fall. I just saw them like cut to like
It was
what
a black screen for a minute.
Jim Ross and fucking Jerry the King Lawler,
And that's how it happened? He accidentally hit the release
That's
himself?
what I researched. That's what they're saying. And they did test runs before. Like they tested it without him before, and so like a stuntman did it, and then Owen did it once during practice, knew how to do it, and then during it on the way down, it either just broke, and they're covering for the company, But the only way those harnesses work, like he had a button.
Makes a lot of sense.
He had a button he had to push. Like once he got low enough where he felt safe, he could push a button and drop into the ring.
So human resources for the WWE is essentially Mr. Wolf from Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
They're just covering up deaths.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
During Owen Hart's descent, I already got that part. Our topic of the day, the Macho Man, he himself also died of a heart attack. So
Almost all these guys
why
die from
all
heart
of the
attacks.
heart attacks. That's a very good question. I think I know the answer. Well, massive amounts of steroids everywhere, massive amounts of painkillers, unhealthy lifestyle, bad food, being on the road, 365 days out of the year, physical and mental abuse from the game, incredible amounts of stress and pressure that comes with the job to perform, pleasing the fans, and if the fans are not entertained, you are fired.
Yeah, that's about right.
These guys are fucking pussies. They need a separate
But they're
brigade. That's not that
jacked and
bad.
tan. That's all that matters, brother. Shit. I don't know what these nerds are talking about.
Savage was so obsessed with his character that many say he never broke character at all. He never wanted anyone to see him as Randall. Even going shopping, he would be in character. He really was just the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah,
as
dude.
he should be.
He really was. Once he was in the WWF and stuff, everything I was researching, he basically just permanently stayed in character.
I mean, do you want to?
He was like the Daniel Day-Lewis of
Do
the
you want to be
WWF.
Randall?
No.
If I was Randall, I would much rather be a Randy, and if I was going to be a Randy, I would want to be a Macho Man.
Exactly.
His lunatic behavior was so convincing, other wrestlers actually thought he was insane, and maybe he was. I don't think that maybe needs to be in there. I think he was fucking insane. In 1978, he brawled with a newlywed in a Waffle House.
That's what's up.
Okay, I love.
Have you ever
that.
been to a Waffle House? Like, you could tell, like, it's a perfect place to get into a fight. Yeah. It's just lit perfectly.
From my experience, if you want to get
The floor's all slippery.
if you want to get a
Like, I'm gonna fucking knock some asshole.
You just got married. Oh yeah, fuck you.
ooh, I'm gonna smother and cover you.
I'm gonna smother you like gravy on a biscuit. Yeah. Yeah.
But from my experience, anytime you go into Waffle House, you have to actually fight the waitress to get
To get your
order.
fucking food.
So, in 1978, he brawled with a newlywed in a Waffle House. I think that is one of my favorite sentences of all time.
Incredible.
When the cops showed up, the Macho Man didn't seem to like cops too much either. So he roughed up the cops a bit and ended up getting pepper sprayed, beaten, and bitten by a police dog. I love this guy.
Yeah.
I thought I loved him before, but I love him even more
No,
now.
I think it was really hard to find out what he did with the cops. I think they covered up because he was so famous at the time. I think he beat the shit out of them.
Well, he's fucking Macho
Yeah,
Man.
yeah, I think
He's
he beat the-
gigantic. Can you picture any cop that could actually take
No,
on
I
a
think he-
coked out Macho Man Randy Savage?
No.
After he just had some smothered, covered, and scattered hash browns at Waffle House? Fuck no.
He's
Yeah.
all
I think
fueled
he
up,
whooped those
fired
cops'
up.
ass.
Got some
I just had that country ham. Oh yeah.
country ham and 9 cups of coffee. You gotta get your ass handed to you, dude.
Yeah, I think he whooped their ass and then they got paid off.
You remember when Macho Man got bit by a snake? Did you ever watch that?
No.
Or do I just remember that because I'm hella old? Like, because the whole like him getting bit by a dog. Like, okay, so like in the '90s, he had an angle with Jake the Snake Roberts, and Jake the Snake was like a good guy forever, and then he became evil.
Yeah,
which
Jake
was
the Snake,
perfect.
dude.
He became evil, and he got rid of his python, and he traded in for like a fucking giant king cobra, which is a huge
Wait,
psychotic.
what?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Actual king cobra.
This was on a
One of
Saturday
the most
morning.
venomous snakes on the planet.
They
And
probably
here's the angle.
devenomized it, dude.
Like, he fucking lured, and Macho Man at the time, like, it was a whole thing where he was
I love that you know.
he was
this.
technically not wrestling at the time. He was just announcing, okay? And like Jake the Snake like goaded him into fucking coming in the ring, and fucking Jake jumps him, ties his arms up in the fucking ropes, pulls out this fucking king cobra, and it's huge, and it's like it's fucking shit's all fanned out like. And he picks it up and he goes over to fucking Macho, and the thing latches onto his fucking arm.
What the fuck?
I'm like 9 years old, and me and my brother are just like, ah! And it's biting his arm, and it's fucking bleeding. And yeah, and the whole thing is fucking like, oh my God, Macho Man got fucking bit, and the venom is going into his veins, and he fucking no one can help him. He's tied up in the fucking ropes and all this shit. But it really bit him. Okay, so in Dark Side of the Ring, there was a whole fucking thing about Macho Man where they talk about that exact thing. They interview Jake the Snake Roberts, and he's just like Macho was down to do the angle. He's like, I'll get tied up in the ropes. You fucking have the Cobra come over because they devenomized it, and they're like, fucking have it bite me. And he's like, okay, so Macho goes to the back.
I love that.
And Jake's like putting his ring gear on in the back, and he's like, hey, you and me need to have a fucking talk, brother. He's like, I'm down to do this fucking angle, man, but you need to do something for me first. And he's like, I need to see the fucking snake bite you. And Jake's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? The thing's devenomized. He's like, maybe it is and maybe it isn't, brother. He's like, maybe you're trying to get rid of the fucking Macho Man. He's like, I need to see that thing fucking bite you right now, or you and me are gonna fucking go, brother. And Jake's like, are you fucking serious? He's like, I'm fucking serious, brother. So Jake's just like, all right. And he pulls out the fucking thing, and he's like, where do you want me to fucking bite it? And he's just like, I went in the leg, yeah. And he fucking smacks the King Cobra, and it's fucking bites him in the fucking leg, and it's all latched on and shit. And it takes a minute because the thing won't just let go.
Yeah.
Jake finally gets the thing off it, and Randy's like, all right, now don't move, don't do anything, don't get any antidotes, just sit there and let me watch you, yeah. I want to see it course your veins, brother. And then after a few minutes, fucking Jake's like, he's like, okay. He's like, there's no venom. I'm fine. I'm just bleeding from the leg now. And he's like, all right, I guess you're okay. And he's just like, what the fuck? This guy's crazy.
And then
I read multiple
Jake the
things.
Snake is like, joke's on you. I spent the last few years building up a resistance to Cobra venom.
He was in character in front of everyone at all times. That's probably exactly
What
how it
the
went down.
fuck?
And everyone was
And
kind
Jake
of
the
afraid
Snake's
of
story
him.
is like, there was no one else around. It was just me and him. He's like, I need to see that fucking thing bite you first, brother. You know, you and me are going to fucking go right now. You imagine sitting there, lacing up your boots, and there's like a sweaty faced Macho Man who's about ready to fucking bitch slap you off a fucking folding chair.
Just baby oil dripping all over you.
Just spit baby oil. It's like, bro.
Clouds of cocaine shooting out of his nose.
He probably put some cocaine in that bite wound.
Oh, it's such a fucking... He's going to stop the bleeding.
This will help with the pain.
I was like, that's such a good story, dude. But yeah,
Fucking
that was
awesome.
traumatizing. That was on television, and that was the Saturday show was designed for children. That's what the Saturday show was. That was like it was in the morning for kids
That's a
around
bump,
cartoon
right?
time to
That's
compete
taking a
with
bump.
cartoons.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
That's
bump.
a bump.
Oh
But it was you take the bump first, brother.
yeah,
damn.
we need to. You need to see that. You need to see a King
Yeah,
Cobra
I need
biting Macho Man Randy Savage at 11 o'clock in the morning.
At 9 years old.
I'm going to go home and look that up tonight.
Yeah, I want to watch that
It's
whole
fabulous.
fight.
The Macho Man would also get in real fights with other wrestlers as well. One incident involving a gun. You can't use a gun against a Macho Man. A fellow wrestler allegedly pulled a gun on Savage after an argument. Savage disarmed the man and then pistol whipped him in the face with it, fracturing his jaw. It's like, didn't, what was his name? Wasn't it,
That
didn't
wrestler was
Sinatra do that on a set of a movie or something like that?
I haven't heard that.
Did a
no.
wrestler do that on the set of a movie?
Yeah, famous wrestler Frank Sinatra. He had a side career as a singer.
Wait, do you know
right.
a wrestler named Dundee?
Yeah, there was a guy named Bill Dundee.
That's who it was that, that pulled a gun on
Mick Dundee. Wrestled at
Crocodile
Crocodiles.
Dundee.
Yeah, and then he lost his visa after that.
That's who it was that he pistol.
He sent him back to Walkabout Creek with his,
A fan saw Savage driving down the street and ran over to him at a red light asking for an autograph. It must have been, quote, just one of those days because Savage got out of the car, picked the fan up over his head, and slammed him onto the ground, fracturing his back and bruising his ribs. Oh, I'm having a real bad day. Oh, yeah.
he's like, here's your signature.
Oh, there's a quote.
Then he stood over him and said, okay, Adam, you got to read this one.
And I quote,
Quote right there.
well, glasses are coming on.
Sunglasses on.
How's that for an autograph, boy? Yeah. Uh-huh. That would be fucked up.
Dude, he just body slammed him and was like, how's that for an autograph?
I'd like to see the traffic cam footage of that.
Just the best part of Adam's impression is the finger movement.
You gotta get the finger. It's like Donald
does
Trump.
that. No, you
gotta get the finger, and you gotta get the pinky. You gotta get the 1, 2, 3. You gotta get the twiddly fingers.
Dude, in the one interview where he's super pissed at Hulk Hogan and he takes off his glasses to show how serious he is, and then he's so
his
sweaty,
eyes are
and then he
pointing opposite
keeps
directions.
without the glasses, he keeps grabbing the glasses that aren't there. It's fucking insane, dude. He keeps going, ugh.
Did you ever see that? Did you ever see the video from
that?
that exact same interview where they cut out all the words? It's just him breathing.
Yeah.
So every time he just
it's out of control.
It's great. That was my childhood.
Yeah.
Just watching men breathe.
Fucking that was our heroes.
Yeah.
As we can see, there was a darker side of Savage, and the world of fame and wrestling was taking its toll. Really, from a guy whose last name was Savage? All the while, his wife Elizabeth was watching this unfold. God, poor Miss Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. When their fictional wedding happened live in front of 20,000 people, they had already been married for 7 years, and things were coming to an end. So they're...
Look, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, brother. There wasn't a fucking dry eye in the Hester household when I was a kid. That shit was on pay-per-view.
Yeah, everybody cried.
It was fucking beautiful. It was the pay-per-view called The Match Made in Heaven and The Match Made in Hell. It was Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man Randy Savage getting married in the ring.
Good fucking marketing.
And then Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter, who turned his back on America because he joined Saddam Hussein and burned an American flag live on TV.
Holy.
That was the pay-per-view.
Holy
Wrestling
shit.
was so
It was so fucking
insane.
awesome.
God,
That'd be like if there was a wrestler who's just like fucking, Jeffrey Epstein. Like that's my boy. I'm Jeffrey Epstein. They killed the wrong guy.
I'm not actually dead.
I'm not actually dead. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He has Macho Man's voice for some reason.
Savage was extremely Sorry. Holy shit, these storylines are fucking insane.
They're the best, dude.
Savage was extremely paranoid and jealous and thought everyone was trying to steal his wife away. Was Miss Elizabeth that hot?
She was a banger, dude.
She was pretty hot.
Yeah, okay.
She was wholesome too.
Yeah, she was.
She was beautiful,
she was
but in the eyes, you could tell like she was completely unfazed by all these oily psychopaths.
So just completely dead behind the eyes.
Like a mannequin. Kim Cattrall.
Black, lifeless eyes like a doll's eyes.
Like a doll's eyes. You got them city hands.
In an interview, Hulk Hogan said, quote, I can't do a Hogan voice. Randy would freak out if anyone ever looked at Elizabeth. Can you do a Hogan voice?
No, you have to try that. You could do better.
Let me think. I can't even picture.
He's a little more bombastic.
It's just like fucking Randy, just louder.
Randy would freak out if anyone ever looked at Elizabeth. Oh yeah, brother. That's still fucking Randy Savage.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, that was what their whole WrestleMania 5 match was about. That was the angle. Like they were a tag team, and then like something happened where Elizabeth got fucking like Mr. Perfect landed on her and flattened her outside the ring, and then Hulk was like, "Oh fuck, we need to take her to the back because she needs medical attention," and Randy Savage was like, "You're trying to carry my wife away to the back and have sex with her, yeah." And then they got fucking beef over that, and then that was that's what started the beef that led to WrestleMania 5.
Yeah, women ruin everything. So the Macho Man would actually lock Miss Elizabeth in a locker room while he was in the ring, so other wrestlers couldn't see her or talk to her. Needless to say, they divorced just a few months after their quote-unquote staged marriage in the ring. Savage dripped with charisma, intensity, and baby oil. Andre the Giant wasn't a big fan of the Macho Man and hated baby oil. I'm very curious about why he hated baby oil so much. Is it because he just excreted it from his pores himself?
I think he just hated it.
That was the thing about Andre, is like if he didn't like somebody, it was just like
you're done.
You're done, and he was gonna fuck with you every chance he got.
Dude, when you're that big, holy shit! Can you imagine just like you? Yeah,
and he wasn't afraid of
in any relationship.
Yeah, he didn't like the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah,
and he would fucking just like bitch slap the Ultimate Warrior. And then while the Ultimate Warrior was on the ground, he'd grab the Ultimate Warrior by his arms to pick him up, and he'd stand on his fucking hair.
Yeah, he would do that. He would rip out
Macho Man's hair.
Macho Man's hair.
That's why he went
'cause didn't
bald,
like it.
yeah.
Well,
What the fuck?
we talk about it in a second, but he would.
Wait, was Andre the Giant a huge piece of shit?
No, he was a fucking amazing
He
human
was-
being.
yeah, he
There's
was
an
an
Andre the
angel to
Giant
everyone
documentary that literally my fucking wife had to sit and watch me cry.
I watched it.
I
and I
was
cried.
just like, oh my God.
He was an angel, but he also didn't let anyone fuck with him. Like,
Yeah.
For this, you're gonna read it right now, but basically he was like, Randy, we're cool, right? We're friends. Can you just not cover yourself in baby oil? It's disgusting. I don't want to get it all over me. Yeah. And he was like, oh yeah, and then just covered himself in baby oil on purpose to fuck with him. Like if you don't respect the Giant, he's gonna whip your ass. And he would do that exact thing. He ripped out his hair, like he would the chest slaps. You can see when he likes you, the chest slaps more timid, more let the actor take the hit and react. When he's slapping Randy, it's like he's just fucking cranking his ass.
Well, if you mess with Fezzik, you're going to get the Goon Squad.
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when the fucking cast of the Princess Bride was in that documentary talking about like Andre was the greatest person, I was just
he's
like,
an
oh
angel,
my
dude.
God, I can't fucking listen to this. broke my fucking
Sweetheart
heart.
out of the ring and a super happy drunk. From what I
That
remember.
I've heard a lot about him being.
But also, like, my favorite thing in the documentary was how he would get shit-faced at hotels. He wouldn't buy a hotel room, get hammered, and pass out in the lobby.
and they couldn't even.
And they
move
just
him.
can't carry him out. He's
They would
so
just have
big.
to vacuum around him.
Yeah, they
I remember
wouldn't be
hearing
able to
about that.
carry him out because he was just so big. And he knew it, so it was like, I can sleep wherever I want.
God damn.
Yeah.
So when Andre the Giant asked Randy not to wear baby oil when they fought, Randy refused. So Andre liked to get a little more rough with Randy. And he enjoyed beating the shit out of him in the ring.
Exactly.
When the Macho Man's father became ill, Randy went into a spiral. He couldn't bear seeing his father, his idol, a pro wrestler, become a withering, wrinkly, dying old man. Randy prayed for his father to die because he hated watching him suffer and look weak. That's actually a very common thing with somebody that has to watch a family member die. You kind of
Yeah.
get to the point where you're like, I just want it to happen and get it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to see him suffer, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like,
And there's also,
he loved his dad. And
there's suffering on their end, there's suffering on your end, and you
causing
get to a
everyone
certain
to
point
suffer,
where it's
yeah.
just like, just rip the Band-Aid off, get it done, so we can move on with life.
he loved his dad. Like, his dad was his idol, and his dad was this wrestler. And his dad was ripped. His dad could
Yeah,
do
he was the
6,000
carpetbagger.
sit-ups.
Everybody knows about him.
Yeah, the carpet muncher guy. He's great.
First pro lesbian wrestler. But when the Macho Man's father passed, things just got worse for Randy. Just a few months after his father died, the Macho Man was driving when his heart stopped. The car crashed, and the Macho Man Randy Savage died from heart disease. That is a strange series of events. He had a heart attack during a car crash and then later died of heart disease.
I think he had
was-
a heart attack and then crashed.
But the reason why he had a heart attack was because he had heart
Oh,
disease.
it was because of heart
Yeah.
disease. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
So he died in the car crash or he died from the heart attack?
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
I think he had a heart attack and that caused the crash, and then
died later in the hospital.
And then
Well,
he died.
considering who he was,
He was in there with
probably
his
just
wife,
like, you
too.
know what,
His wife
I'm
was fine.
done. And just chose to die.
Fuck. I'm sure he was pissed. I'm sure he wanted like Hogan to die first.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
His final words were, Hogan still lives.
He's like, no, my heart stopped. God damn it.
Hulk Hogan and Macho Man were sort of like Thomas Jefferson and John
Westinghouse?
Adams.
Oh no, sorry, I completely mixed that up.
All right, well, that's the end of the story of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Died sad, which sucks. But
Died sad, yeah.
he had a babe at the end, though, because he divorced Elizabeth. Then he got married and divorced again. And then he had a babe at the last minute when he
He
died.
only got
She was in the
divorced
car.
twice?
She was in the car when I think he had 3 wives.
In the car with him when he died?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
They all
kayfabe.
they all died. Yeah, no.
I didn't realize he was Mormon.
Yeah, no, he had a good life, I think.
He had a good life, and he was like, He was actually a really good person too. Like he was.
That's the thing. Those were the most fucked up things I was searching. That's part of the show.
Right.
Someone you love, you got to find some dirt on him. Those fights, fighting the cops, beating up the newlywed guy, beating up that fan in the middle of the street. Those were the only fucked up things I could find. Apparently, that stuff was happening all the time. Like he was kind of a cocksucker.
I mean, look. I mean, all the other all his contemporaries when that shit was going on, there was like worse stuff going on. There was guys getting stabbed. There was guys like around that fucking Chris Benoit, fucking Bruiser Brody got stabbed to death in Puerto Rico. Like all that shit.
I couldn't find one thing. I think he was mentally abusive to Elizabeth, kind of controlling and super obsessive and jealous. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't find one thing where there was any evidence or anyone saying ever that he like physically abused her ever.
Yeah, and then she ended up dying of a drug overdose at Lex Luger's house.
Yeah, after that,
because they broke up, and then
the Superman villain.
Lex Luger was a pro wrestler. He wrestled primarily in WCW. He had a stint in WWF for a while. Jesus Christ, Coop. But yeah, she died of a drug overdose. But from what I can tell, Macho Man was very involved with like charities. So like to him, part of kayfabe was like it's for kids. You know what I mean? Oh. So he was like anytime there was Make-A-Wish Foundation shit or anything that had anything to do with fucking like kids charities and shit, he was all about it. Blew all his money, spent all his time doing that shit, which is amazing because it's like he's a complete psycho, but like. It's like you're not fucking going to any charities for kids, you fucking assholes.
Hey, here, Timmy. I know you're dying from leukemia, but watch this. You snort the cocaine, and then you snort a little water afterwards, and it helps with the drips.
Yeah. Little cancer kid is like,
now smear yourself with this baby oil.
Yeah. Slams them on the fucking.
He's rubbing baby oil on their bald, cancerous heads. Look at the shine.
I read a thing because he's in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he's called
Bonesaw.
Yeah, Bonesaw, and
I got you for 3 minutes.
On set, apparently, everyone was like, he was the nicest guy. Like he was just grateful to be there. He never broke character.
He was just Bonesaw the whole time.
Yeah, he was Bonesaw the whole time.
Tobey Maguire is fucking like shoulder bumping him every time they walk past each other in the hallway.
Fuck you. He had a girlfriend at the time because he was after Elizabeth, and. Two things happened on the set that was interesting. There's a scene, it's in the movie, you see him, Spider-Man throws him against the fence and then he lands on his head and onto the ground. That was a mistake. He actually like fucked his neck up super bad and he couldn't turn his head anymore after that ever again. And on the day when he got injured super bad, he was like, it's fine, and just did the rest of the scene. He couldn't.
Fucking
if you watch the movie, he doesn't turn his neck because he couldn't. He could only turn his body. And from that point on,
Kurt Angle.
Like that, I guess, yeah. But and then another thing that was in the notes from on set, multiple crew members are like, yeah, whenever he'd leave, he'd be in the back room with his girlfriend, and you could hear them fucking. They don't say it in that words. But they're like, there was always just very intense sounds coming from behind the wall, and it was because he was banging.
God bless him.
Banging his girl between takes.
I love this guy.
Yeah. He was doing the Spider-Man interface.
All right, let's close this out. I got to get out of here. Adam, why don't you give a little promo for your show?
Okay, that's Skeleton Factory Podcast, all things cult films. That's at Instagram at skeleton_factory and all major finer podcasting platforms in the world. And
only the cream of the crop of
it
the
is the cream of the crop. And I'm playing around with Twitter just to see if I can get kicked off of it, and that's at SF Podcast ATX on Twitter. And I'm also on Patreon at patreon.com/skeleton factory.
Patreon.com/skeleton.
Oh yeah, next episode I'm gonna do the original series of V, the mini series. If you know what V is, it's an alien invasion thing.
Yeah,
it's
I grew
amazing.
up watching that shit.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next. Episode. I'm doing the original 1983 V miniseries.
All right. Well, next week we're going to be covering the original Instagram thought, Marilyn Monroe. But for this week, we are done. You can follow me on Instagram at Coop Nukem. You can follow Joel at Joel R. Benner, or just follow Iconoblast at Iconoblast Podcast.
Do it.
And also, we have our own YouTube channel now.
Yeah.
It's the same YouTube channel. It used to be the Drinking Bros History YouTube channel. Now it's just
our
the
channel now.
Iconoblast channel.
It's going to be exclusively our content, and we have plans for some other stuff to come soon once Coop gets his life together.
Yeah,
So-
good luck with that.
So it's never going to happen, but we're excited about it.
So we'll see you on BitChute.
Yeah.
We'll be, yeah.
Yeah, if you just search Iconoblast on
you can
YouTube,
find me
you'll
on
find our channel.
stormfront.com. All right, well, join us again next week. Until then, my name is Matt Cooper. That
Joel
is
Benner.
Joel Benner, and that is Adam Hester from Skeleton Factory, and we're reminding you to never take anything at face value.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.